The Lincoln's Legends podcast is proudly brought to you by two amazing sponsors that are local businesses from right here in Springfield. MilesT-shirts.com, top-notch printing at a great price, and Laces Footwear. Why buy kicks and threads at separate places when the freshest gear is all at Laces? LacesFootwear.com. What's up, everybody? It's Bailey. Thank you so much for checking out the show. We've got crazy downloads right now. Before we start the interview, I need to bring to your attention, we just started a campaign with Patreon.com. I've created a digital tip jar to crowdfund the show instead of compromising content by asking for ad revenue from more advertisers or our existing advertisers. You see, on a weekly basis, in order to deliver the show to you, our show has to be pushed through the power of ads. Now, I want to keep the show all about the content. I want it to be fresh. I want less commercials, and I want more interviews. And that's where you come in. If you want to help us out, we're asking for as little as 50 cents per episode or as much as $2 a month. Check it out at patreon.com/Lincoln's Legends Podcast. We also just started an email club. If you want to be up to date on the latest news for the show, hit me up via your favorite social medium. I'll make sure that you get added. Now, this information is extremely confidential. I'm trusting you to listen to the show, and you got to trust me that I'm not going to give your information to anybody else. This is strictly for Lincoln's Legends Podcast Insider. I'm stoked to announce we're starting the year out with the first PG episode. I know I just went over a ton of information, and if you missed anything, you can check it all out at Lincoln'sLegendsPodcast.com. Fully redesigned website. Everything is just a click away.
Hi, this is Brian Galecki of Dumb Records, and you're listening to Lincoln's Legends Podcast.
Welcome to the Lincoln's Legends Podcast Yeti Gaming Edition. Yeti Gaming being, well, I'm going to let them explain it. I'm lucky to be sitting in front of
Josie Bartello.
And you are?
The co-owner of Yeti Gaming Springfield.
And those are my keys because I'm unprofessional. And you, my friend?
I am Ray Krause. I'm one of the Yeti Gaming Springfield employees.
Well, welcome to the show. The hour's here, so we can talk about whatever you want.
All right, so let's start out with just the general information about the store. Basically, we are just a tabletop gaming store. We do mainly.
Don't say Say this is what we do, because I don't know if everybody knows about it.
All right. So basically, what we do is we do Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, we do Pokemon tournaments, and we do Magic tournaments. We also have seating for casual gaming and for board game players. We have a couple of players who bring in like the card game Cards Against Humanity, and some guys who bring in like the Star Wars X-Wing figures to play. So we always have open seating if you're just looking to come in and play casually, and we always have weekly tournaments. We do two tournaments a week for Yu-Gi-Oh! We do that Thursday night at 7, and then we do Saturdays at 3 p.m. Then we do 3 tournaments a week normally for Magic. We do Tuesday Night Legacy, which is at 7. Then we'll do our Thursday Night Commander, which is at 7:15. And then Friday, we'll do Friday Night Magic Standard Constructed, which is at 7, and we'll do a draft at 7 as well.
That's awesome. Please forgive me. I might jump in front of you or ask you to reiterate things because I'm learning as I go here. This isn't something that I'm normally a part of, which is really exciting because I get to learn about new stuff. And I know casually about Magic and D&D, and I feel that it's extremely positive, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have it on, because there's so much stuff to do in the town that people complain, like, there's nothing to do. Well, you just don't know where to go or what to do. Can you talk about any of the tournaments that are your big tournaments that you have turnouts for and people come out and they just love coming to your venue for that?
Generally, our biggest Magic tournaments for the week are Commander tournaments, and basically what Commander
May I ask you, like, they buy the cards, and then they all have their own cards, and they show up. Do you sell the cards? How does that work?
Yeah, it's not, you come with a pre-constructed deck. Commander is a format for Magic where you start with a 100-card deck.
Okay.
It's all based around this one creature in Magic.
All right.
And you can choose any legendary creature, but it has to be a legendary. And then the way it works in Commander is you can play, like, Magic has the 5 basic colors. It has white, blue, black, red, and green.
Okay.
So a commander will be any combination of those colors. It can be just one color like white, or it can be all 5.
Okay.
In Commander, after you choose that, that's your biggest part, because you want one that you like. A lot of people choose one they like thematically or they like storyline-wise. Like, this is a really cool guy, like a barbarian warlord or something like that. And then they go off of that, and you can put in any cards that are in that color.
Out of 100?
Out of 100.
Okay.
In the deck. But you can only put one of each card unless it's a basic land.
Oh, so you got to play your good cards in the right sequence.
Well, you still start as a regular game of Magic, and that's why a lot of people like Commander, because A, if you have to get an expensive or hard to find card, you don't have to worry about getting a normal, 4 of playset for the deck like a lot of Magic decks do. It's not like, oh, I have to buy this $40 card 4 times over and I'm
Really?
going to find somewhere to find it. It's,
Oh, wow.
Oh, I have to buy 1 copy of this. And the other interesting thing about Commander is, you start off with a 7-card hand, and you start off with your Commander in the command zone, but rarely in Commander format is it going to be the same game of Magic every time. Because a lot of times with Magic formats, you're building a deck and you're like, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to win. But in Commander, you're not always going to get that. So you have multiple win conditions and you have multiple different things that your deck's going to do. So it's not going to be the same game over and over.
That's pretty
and
awesome.
over.
And then is each outcome determined by the opposing player as well on what they have and their cards?
Commander games completely change depending on like what your opponent's commander is, because you're going to have to play around their strategy as well as you're trying to win with your own.
Do you have people that like come in, like they started out casually and now like he's going to be a heavy hitter, he or she? Forgive me for misusing the word.
Oh, it's no problem. We have plenty of players who have gotten a lot more competitive as they've played Commander.
That's awesome.
They came in with just these like little budget Commander decks they'd play for fun, and they've really beefed them up, and it's really gotten to be a really fun and interesting format to come and watch the games.
Now, can you facilitate the beefed up versions of the cards here?
Yeah, our case is pretty empty right now because we just had an after Christmas sale and it got pretty cleaned out.
Well, the first of the year, the show will be airing, so by the time people come in, there'll be some awesome stuff, right?
Exactly. And we carry a lot of the more expensive, harder to find cards, and that way players can come in and get just what they're looking for.
How do you find these cards if they're hard to find?
I mean, we have people that come in that either want to sell, if you want to sell your collection, if you just want to sell a few cards, we're always buying, looking for cards.
So that was a question. That was my next question. Do you just have the packaged items, or do former players sell them to you, or players that are still playing but trying to get new cards in their deck?
Yeah, all the time. We do a pack with your tournament entry, so a lot of players will open that pack and they may get something really cool, but
wait, tournament entry. Do you mean they have to buy a new set of cards to play each time? Because you said they'll open a pack, so I don't know the difference between that 100 that you're talking about or the pack.
So the way it works is you come with a pre-constructed deck of 100 cards.
Yes.
But when you enter the tournament, because it's $5 tournament entry, we put we have 2 prize cards that we always have for first and second for the week.
Oh, okay.
And then we do packs for the rest of the payout, but we also give you a pack when you enter the tournament.
That was my question.
Yes.
That's awesome.
For all of our tournaments, you get a free booster pack.
So you could only have 75 or whatever cards. You borrow 25 from your friend to get in this game. You're going to get a deck of cards playing, so you're encouraging them to come back, and that's wonderful.
Well, we have plenty of people that will trade with you. You can bring in your binders and
next
trade,
question.
or you can trade with us. We'll give you credit and or cash for anything that you have.
Is there like a fair that you'd have for a trade day, or is it just the weekly thing?
It's every day that you
Do you feature like cards? I mean, is there somebody that's like looking for
we have
a card?
A buy board that we're looking for, and we put it up on our board. That's what we are looking to buy, and
That's awesome. So we've got Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's go over them again, because I'm not saying that they were quick, but they were quick for me.
All right, that's no problem. So basically, with the Magic,
yes.
Tuesday nights we'll do Legacy.
Yes.
Now Legacy is a format in Magic in which it's every set from when Magic started until now.
Okay.
And it's an eternal format. They'll never, it just keeps growing with the new sets. They'll never like move out the old sets.
All right.
And it's just there are certain cards that are banned from it, like really powerful cards from back in the day.
I was gonna say, you got to have that one guy that comes in and tries to be, all sneaky, and then he's got a card that you can't play anymore.
We haven't had any problems with that for our Legacy
That's why I don't
tournaments.
play, because I'd be that one guy. I'd research those five important cards, but I'd only play them one at a time.
Well, the thing is, Legacy actually has like a decently long ban list, and a lot of the cards on there aren't cheap cards either to get, because they're collector's cards, and they're played in an older format called Vintage. Oh. So they're like $500 up dollar cards per card. So like.
That's awesome.
Then we can also acquire cards that you may specifically want from our sister store, Yeti Gaming in Crestwood, Missouri.
That's awesome. So there's 2.
Yes.
And how long has this one store been in here?
April 22nd we opened this year.
Oh, that's awesome. So we're kind of jumping on something new. We're not here for the grand opening, but I'm very happy that, we stopped in. And what got you interested in doing this?
My youngest son plays cards, and we would travel. And
Travel just for playing cards?
yes,
Where did you go?
I went to Decatur, we went to St. Louis, Missouri, and we went to Yeti Gaming and saw that the prices are the lowest that we have ever seen, and the pricing is better than we've ever seen. So we
That's
spent
awesome.
some time down there and decided we really, really liked it, and I approached my partner, Vince Kreckler, and said we need to do this in Springfield. And he and his wife came to Springfield and took a look at the local scene and determined that this was something that might fit in with everyone else.
I like the location. It's far enough away, but it's also in the middle of everything,
Right.
if that makes sense. You want to give the address?
We are located at 2761 South 6th Street. We're easily accessible from 55 and 72.
Absolutely, wonderful.
We have several out-of-town players that come from Quincy, that come from Champaign, and from Decatur.
That's wonderful. So we're, like I said, in the middle of everything, but far enough away. The last time I was here to ask about the interview, there were some locals that were causing a little bit of a ruckus, we'll say. Not a large ruckus, but do you have that often?
We have like some players, and like every store has this. They're the players that are gonna sit on the backs of the chairs or like argue with each other and stuff like that. That's just something every local.
No. I was talking about the passersby that walk in. Do they bother you? Because
you know what? That was the first time we have ever had a problem with that.
then we won't address it any further. I will say that I've seen a lot of things in the town, and people tend to. It hurts my heart. They make fun of what they don't understand. And I think that was the situation that I ran into, where I politely asked for an interview. You guys were wonderful. I went across the street to have some lunch, and there was a gentleman that didn't understand what it was to have an imagination, and he just started making jokes, and I shook my head the whole time, and I even came back because I felt bad. I was like, that guy's a dirtbag, and I really hope that he's not ruining the tournament.
Well, we're providing an experience for people that is 5 or 6 hours. They're not drinking. They're not using
no, it's
drugs.
amazing.
They're having a great time. It's face-to-face gaming that younger guys may not be doing because they're doing all this computer experience.
That's another point I want to bring up. I think that's awesome because it's so everybody's got a gamer tag. Everybody's playing online. Everybody is in their home, and I fear for a lot of the people that don't leave the house because there's no social interaction. So this is a nice hybrid. I mean, you can have the imagination that you have in gaming, and you can just let your mind run and do all these scenarios and work out, everything that you need to with your deck of cards or your themed game, whatever it is. But you're also sitting right in front of a person, and you have the social skills of, hi, how are you? Good to see you, rather than, violently screaming through a headset or something.
And what's great about that is not only does it get people out of the house, gets them to develop their social skills, the games also help with math and reading for younger kids, which is great. And it also, we don't just have the stereotypical, 18 to 20-year-old guy who never leaves the house except to come to the card shop. We have like all ranges of people.
Well, I wanted to ask you, there was something where, do you have like a 10 and under tournament, like a 12 and over, like 15, 18? How does that go?
We generally don't do separate tournaments for our players.
So your kids are so smart. The 14-year-olds, is they're playing against the 18-year-olds?
No, our sister store does have a dragon, which is 13 and under for Yu-Gi-Oh! And we are definitely looking at developing that for Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as for Pokemon. We are really, really encouraged to build our Pokemon community because it is children 6 and up. And there is a seniors division and a juniors division
There you go.
and a masters division. So we really tell parents, come on in. We're more than happy to have your kids here for 2 or 3 hours on Sunday afternoon. You want to go shop or whatever.
See, and that's awesome because they're learning, they're reading, the math, the imagination, the things that are kind of, pushed to the back burner as everything becomes digital. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very lucky that we live in a digital age where you can do anything that you want to with a Mac or an iPad or any PC. You can do whatever you want. But it's also that point where you're not working for yourself. You're just relying on Google to, okay, Google, what's this answer?
Well, it allows for non-traditional, as far as children that aren't good in sports or children that may not want to be in that competitive
absolutely.
arena. They come in here and they still, are able to win or lose in a less competitive environment where everyone's very friendly and, it's, hey, good game afterward. It's none of this sit on the bench because you don't play very well.
And that scares me too because in the politest way possible, kids, they need to learn how to lose, but in the appropriate fashion. And it is scary. There's a lot of large competitive scenes. Just you breed your kid to play basketball or football or baseball, and then someone else feels left out just because they have a wild imagination and they would rather invest their time in something that's not as physical. But that doesn't mean that they're less of a person. And I believe that this place would definitely help out and I'm not saying that not everyone knows about it, everyone does know about it, but I mean, if we can bring one kid in here that doesn't know how to play sports, but he's great at one of the card games or something like that, I mean, that's what it's about. It's awesome.
Well, even if they're not the greatest or they're just starting out, like I'm always happy to teach people. I'm the store's also the Pokemon professor, so I'm the judge for all the tournaments. When little kids come in with their parents, they're just checking it out for the first time. I always encourage them to come back. I'll help them. They always bring in these collection of cards. They're in Tupperware and plastic bags. And I'll help them build a deck to play with, and I'll show them how to do that. And it's a great feeling of joy, because they'll come to their first tournament, and they normally don't win their first couple matches, but when they do finally win that match against somebody, just the look of excitement and joy on their face when they beat somebody, and they're super happy about it, and they ask for their standings, and they may not win that tournament, but when they're 5th out of 8 in an 8-man tournament, and it's their first time winning, they're super excited to be 5th.
Well, yeah, they want to come right back.
Yeah,
and they want to get into it.
And we have several gaming students from the University of Illinois. We have students that come regularly from Blackburn.
That's awesome.
So we have great college kids that
there's a mentor system in place. That's awesome. Do you guys right now? I guess we would say that it is the break for the colleges and the schools. Do you guys ever set up tournaments, or is it a possibility to set up something during break? Because you mentioned that on a Sunday you can have the kids hang out for an all-day tournament while the parents are shopping. But have you ever thought about leaning towards that, or is that a possibility?
That is open every time that someone comes in with a group of as many as 4 to up to 12. They're welcome to have a tournament just between themselves.
That's awesome.
Yep, we always put that out there. We've had a couple times where people have come in on the weekends just for Magic Draft because they didn't want to.
What is a Magic Draft?
All right, so the way Magic Draft works is it's different than a regular Magic tournament because regular Magic tournaments are constructed where you go in with this deck and you're playing
the 100 cards.
All day. That's only for Commander is 100 cards.
Okay, all right, I'm learning.
But the way Draft works is it's $12 entry. You don't get a pack with entry in this. You get 3 packs to draft with, and then there are 2 packs put in for each person in the prize pool.
Okay.
And the way draft works is everybody at the table opens a booster pack. You take out the basic land and the token or the tip card.
Yes.
And then you go through the other 14 cards. You choose a card out of it. You put it face down, and then you pass it to the person on your left. And then you'll do this for the full pack. And then after that, you'll open your next. Everybody gets to look at their cards, put them face down, decide what colors they're playing, how they want to draft this. Then you open the next pack, you pass to your right, same thing, go tell there's no cards left, and then the last one you pass to your left, and then you build a 40-card deck out of the cards that you drafted, and then basic lands that we provide for the players, and then you play with that for the tournament. So it's a great way for newer players to get in because it helps build up their card collection if they don't have a deck or if they don't have friends to borrow cards from.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And it's the easiest way really to learn how to play the game is because it's a very fair format. Everybody's
because it's a pot that you just go fish and you grab all your stuff out of, and you have to play against that deck rather than having something that you've built for quite some time. Where is the best way to find everything that is Yeti Gaming?
We have our site, which is YetiGamingSpringfield.com, and then we have our Facebook page, which is Yeti Gaming Springfield. Either of those will have the information. On our Facebook page, we do our weekly posts on our tournaments because, like I said, we do prize cards. So it's, generally like Magic players. We're doing our weekly Legacy tournament. First place gets X card. Second place gets X card.
Right.
And we are known for giving away prize cards for first and second place.
That's
we
awesome.
are really the only store around that will do that. As far as first place, we'll give you a $60 card.
Wow.
Because a lot of places like to do store credit, which I get. You don't want to give out, you don't want to say, hey, I'm going to give away this, because most of the time we're not doing like a $60 card, but sometimes we do a $60 card for
Absolutely.
first. And we've had it where we do a $60 card for when we were starting out Legacy, and we would get 6 to 8 people, which isn't the kind of turnout you want for that kind of card. And then we'd do one where we same price card, but we'd get 14 people, which is what more you're looking for. But we promised that card, and we basically what we're saying is if we get 4 people for the base amount we need for the tournament, or if we get 14, this is the card first is guaranteed,
That's awesome.
and this is the card that's second is guaranteed.
And on Thursdays and Fridays, we always have free pizza with our tournaments.
Oh wow, free pizza, free pizza. Free pizza.
And then Saturdays when we do our Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, we always do free donuts with that as well.
Oh my gosh! So the kids can play, they can eat. That's awesome. I have cheesy questions that I always ask. It makes it fun. We can ask individually, just because I know that there's something that people would change if they had the chance in the city. And I'll ask you first. If you could be mayor for a day, what would you change?
You have to think about this.
Only for a day.
Only for a day?
Only for a day.
Is it a permanent change or is it like a 24-hour change?
Well, in your head.
Honestly, I'd like to see like more things in this town open later, because like it seems like there are places you can go that are open later in town, but
define the businesses that you would like to be open.
Like more shopping, more restaurants, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. There are a lot of cool places in Springfield. But when a lot of like people, come from bigger towns like Cincinnati or Chicago, a lot of the places that like they're used to, like their local food places, are open until midnight,
so like dining,
something like that. And you come here and it's 9 p.m. and you're like, oh, we're not really going to be able to go anywhere except like McDonald's. Yeah.
Well, that is wonderful that you said that, because a lot of people in the last episodes are saying there's not a lot for kids to do, and I was really excited for this interview because unfortunately we live in a city where the mall has no arcade, the mall has no movie theater. There's rec centers, but those rec centers are specifically towards one sport, and not every kid's good at sports. So that's awesome. I mean, this is another outlet that you can send kids to that's creative, and you get free pizza and donuts. Why would you not? What about you? What would you change?
I'd have to say more of a public forum or general place where people get more information about new businesses that are open. What's here when we have people that come in from out of town, they're saying, hey, could you recommend a place for us to eat, or could you recommend a good hotel for us? I think more of a website or directory where people could go to, that everybody could post. Like we could post and say, hey,
well, sure.
this is what we're doing.
You could endorse each other. The small businesses could endorse each other. No, it's a wonderful idea. Let's do something that the next segment, you don't have to participate, but it's always fun to throw somebody under the bus. I like to call it the Lincoln's Losers section. I talk about my neighbor Steve, his dog. He relieves himself in my yard, and I've told him 8 times. He just stop. Just keep your dog out of my yard. It's gross. If you could throw somebody under the bus in a fun way, what would you say?
Oh, jeez.
You don't have to answer. You don't have to. I can see you're giggling. It's fine. That's why it's a gotcha section. It's an interview show. And I've already got you, so we don't have to continue. That's awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we can go over, because we've already gone over all the fun stuff. When's the next tournament that you guys have?
We'll be doing a Legacy tournament tomorrow night at 7. And then
this won't air until the 2nd of...
We have several big things coming up in the month of
January.
There you go.
That's what I want.
January the 4th, we're having a Pokemon City Challenge that's open to any Pokemon players that would like to play, whether they play it at all or not. They can come in and we can give them an ID and they can jump in the tournament that day. It's free for kids 15 and under. Masters is a $10 fee that day, so that's 15 and up. We also have on January the 10th a PPTQ coming up for Magic, and I'll let Ray tell you more about that.
So the PPTQ is the preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. Basically, whoever tops the event gets to go to a regional Pro Tour qualifier.
Oh, wow.
And whoever tops the regional Pro Tour qualifier, of course, goes to the Pro Tour. But the regional Pro Tour qualifiers are different than, because any advanced plus level store can hold a Pro Tour qualifier. But
what does it take to qualify for advanced plus?
You have to have a certain amount of unique players and fire a certain amount of events.
Okay.
Every quarter.
So every time that you guys have an event, are you placed in a pool and then you go?
Yes, and we move further towards that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because even though we've only been open for 8 months, we're already an advanced store.
That's
so
awesome.
We're working on our advanced plus. But the way the regional Pro Tour qualifier will work, different than just a store hosting it, is everybody that enters gets a special promo card. The promo card is Liliana the Veil.
What is that?
It is a Planeswalker, which is a card type specific to Magic.
Okay.
It's basically, a Planeswalker is a card you cast, and it's like an ally that helps you fight.
Okay.
They have, certain abilities. Most Planeswalkers have 3 different abilities.
Okay.
There's, the plus ability, there will be a plus ability that's just, that's a decent ability, nothing super cool.
Yes.
And then there will be, a middle ability that'll either be 0 or minus, that'll be a bit more powerful because you're not gaining any loyalty or you're losing loyalty from that ally, and then there's an ultimate, which normally costs like a decent amount, and it'll be this huge big ability. Like Liliana the Veil says, basically you take every card your opponent has on the field and you put it into 2 piles.
Oh, wow.
And they have to choose one of those piles, and then the other pile goes to the graveyard.
Whoa.
And,
Choose wisely.
And she's a card that's played in Modern and in Legacy and a lot of Magic formats. She's like around $70 to $80 right now.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody who goes to that regional Pro Tour qualifier will get a Liliana the Veil. So it's so even if you if you just do well in our preliminary Pro Tour qualifier, go to there and don't do well, you are getting something out of going to it.
Oh my
And
god.
that
Plus
cost
you
is, what, $20?
$20 for entry for the tournament, for the preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. And you also do get the experience of playing in a more competitive format, of course, for the regional Pro Tour qualifier.
From out-of-town players as well as local players.
Yeah.
How far does it go, the tournament? Like, how far can you go playing cards?
For like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Pokemon, you can go to Worlds. Like they have big international tournaments for these. They do Worlds for Magic in different parts of Europe. They do Worlds for Pokemon in different parts of the world as well. They do it in Japan. They did it in Hawaii. And like if you're a world level player, like with Magic, like they all have different point systems to track it. But like they'll pay for you to go to these events, and they'll put you up in a nice hotel, and you'll get like all like your meals paid for you and everything.
Have you followed like an individual, like people would follow World Series of Poker or something? Have you followed an individual and watched them go that far?
I personally have not watched like an individual go from local to like Worlds level. I watch a lot of the streams they do online. Like there's a big Magic the Gathering company called Star City Games.
Yes.
And other than like Wizards of the Coast, which are the people who own Magic, Star City Games is the like second biggest tournament organizer next to them. They do tournaments pretty much in every state in the U.S. They do like their open series, which anyone can open, their invitational qualifier, which is only for so many people that have enough points.
Wow.
They did a big event in November, actually, Grand Prix New Jersey, where it was just this huge event. They played up as much as possible. Everybody got like a sweet playmat and sleeves with cool Magic card art on them for playing. They had an artist who because a lot of Magic players, I haven't seen this as much in any other game, but in Magic, a lot of players like it to get their cards signed by the artist who did the art, or because Magic.
Whoa! Can you like meet him like at a con or something?
Yeah, and that's what they did.
No way!
That's what they did at Grand Prix New Jersey.
Why would you play with it? I don't open toys out of the box. If I get them signed, I don't want to open them.
We have had local players go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals, which are world qualifiers.
That's awesome.
The third in the Dragon Duels is actually from St. Louis, Missouri.
Really?
That represented Yeti Gaming.
That's awesome.
And with Pokemon, you have the chance to win college scholarships.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's why we're really, really big on trying
crazy.
to acquire more of a Pokemon crowd here at our store, because we are the only people in town that play Pokemon.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And we have the room to seat 100 people, so we
Yeah,
run
no, it
multiple
goes on.
events every day.
Yeah, it's the location is great because, like I said, it's in the middle of everything, but it's far enough away we're not going to get in trouble. I mean, you've got, as you said, the interstate's right there, and you can't miss it. I mean, there's an eyesore that is Bel Air Manor on the way in, but right before you get there, you see Yeti Gaming.
Well, and they are closing down the Bel Air now, so
that is a story in itself, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to close the show. Is there anything else that you guys would like to close with?
I'd like to mention that on February 28th, we're having an official tournament store Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional, and that cost is $20 also to all of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends out there that want to come in.
That's awesome.
And then, of course, we'll be doing, January is actually a really big month for us because starting January the 4th, we have our Pokemon City Challenge, which I did want to mention is not the video game challenge because a lot of people have been calling and asking. This time it is strictly only the trading card game and not the video game.
Okay.
Because there are tournaments for that, but we have not entered into that arena yet.
Okay.
Then January the 10th, of course, we will be doing the preliminary Pro Tour qualifier, which I talked about for Magic.
Yeah.
Then the day after that, we're actually having a sneak peek for the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Set, which is basically a week before it comes out. You get to come in, you get to get 5 of the new packs from the new set.
Oh,
then
whoa.
You get to play with you get to play with your already constructed deck, but then you get to open those cards, see if you get anything to help out your deck, and then you get to play in the tournament, and you get like a cool playmat if you win that has like card art from the set.
That's awesome.
And then the week after that, of course, is the release for the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Set, and then we'll be doing a pre-release for the Magic set that's coming out the week after that.
Gosh,
and
you guys are busy.
We do 6 tournaments across that weekend for the Magic pre-release.
Yeah.
Our biggest one, of course, is Friday at midnight. That's when we get a lot of people in. and it's always fun because the way the Magic pre-release works is it's kind of like draft,
Yes.
but instead of getting 3 packs, you get 6, and instead of drafting them, you just get to open them all.
Oh, wow.
And you get to build a deck out of those 6 packs, and you actually get you choose the way they've been doing it for the past few sets. They haven't shown if they're going to do it for this set, but I'm sure they will. You get to choose like a certain clan that you like, or a certain color or guild, and it's like color combinations, like green and white or red and black, and you get a special pack which has like one rare that's specifically from those colors, and then the rest of the pack is just stuff that's in those colors, so that it helps you with a base to help you build your deck in those colors.
That's amazing.
And then you get to build a deck off of that and play a bunch of different people who have the sealed deck built as well, and we do fabulous pricing for that.
And Cake at Midnight.
We do Cake at Midnight for that, and then we'll do 5 more throughout the weekend. We'll do 3 on Saturday and we'll do 2 on Sunday, and then of course the week after that is the release for the new Magic set, and we'll be doing drafts all Friday night for that.
I don't know where you found him, but his passion is amazing for this. And
He is an encyclopedia of knowledge.
I was going to tell you off the show, but it's not worth it for me to hide it. Like, that is awesome. You were lit up like, oh my God, like a little
You
kid.
should see him with Pokemon kids.
It's awesome.
He's so patient and teaches them how to build their deck, and he does the same with Magic. We had new men come in from the University of Illinois Springfield,
Yeah.
and he built decks and built decks and built decks for these men.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and I hope everybody gets here in the month. You got a long, long month. Please check out the Facebook because you get to put the events out. Oh, that's awesome.